Hey guys, well it's been an interesting, well I'd say about a week. Been testing the A07 versus the TB10D. Um, there are similarities. Obviously, they're the same chipset. Um, the one thing I didn't like about the A07 is the fact that it had a really cheap knob. And that's not the one that came from it, but it's pretty much the same. Where the inner part sleeve was plastic and it just had a really thin tin on it. Um, Obviously, I replaced it with something thicker. The one thing that's nice about the TB10D is all the pots are really high end, as well as the knobs itself are all solid aluminum, which I like, and you can feel it because they'd be cold, right? The power supply that comes with the TB10D is obviously about a half an inch smaller, but they're both the same ratings, which is 36 volt, 4.5 amp. This is probably just plastic from here to here. That's for the A07. I didn't like the fact that you couldn't swap the op amps out of it, but it's all surface mount. So, I mean, you could put a socket on there if you had some soldering skills, but the one that comes with the amp itself is pretty good. It's I've already tested it, turned it on, unplugged the inputs, and it's dead silent. There's no hiss, there's no pop, there's nothing. You wouldn't even know it was actually on. Well, the A07 is pretty much the same. They're both dead quiet. I like that the TB10D has a oversized heatsink. Like, I mean, it takes up the whole front of the case, right about here. Versus this one just goes from here to here, and it's about that wide. This one actually did get quite warm at idle, and when you were playing music. That's why I cut the top off and put a vent or a screen on it. This one here, surprisingly, even when I was like driving the hell out of it for hours, like it's as high as it'll go, it would stay cool. It wouldn't even get warm. I do like the different. I like the case on the TB10D because it's one piece. It's like a sleeve, versus this one splits in half. It makes it a little bit weaker and a little bit noisier. What else? That's about it. Sound wise, if you turn the tone controls down, they're pretty much got about the same amount of power. I was testing just the smaller power supply, not the large one, and I was going back and forth as I was playing tracks. One thing I did find is the A07 has good soundstage, but it's more narrower than the TB10D. This one's got more detail. It's got a wider soundstage, which I've noticed. I don't know what that's from. Maybe it's the lack of caps inside of it. The A07's got way more capacitors than the TB10D. That maybe makes a difference. I do like the tone controls. I mean, I don't think they needed a bass and a treble. If they could just put like a toggle switch versus like a bass boost, that's really all you need. If anybody's in this really tight bass, then this is definitely that TB10D is definitely for you, because what you can do is turn the tone controls up, turn the volume all the way up, use it as a block amp, and then run it off your receiver on the outputs. So that means I got loudness control plus the tone controls all the way up on that. And then when it goes through this, the bass that comes out of these Fluent speakers is crazy. If you sit in the sweet spot of these speakers, you swear you're in a car, because it's just the bass is just moving your clothes. So if you're into bass, I'd go for the TB10D. Like I said, if you turn the tone controls down, they pretty much have the same power, which that doesn't come as a surprise considering the same chip. So yeah, the winner clearly is a TB10D. It's not just the fact that I didn't have to modify the knobs when I got it. You know what I mean? It's not the cheap plastic things. It's again a nice solid case, a nice big oversized heatsink. the details of making this amp were actually looked at before it was sent out to the consumer. I do know that when the first ones that actually came out had an issue with it. They had a hiss or something when you turned it right up. But I guess when they upgraded them, they got rid of that. I'm not too sure what else they did, but I love that amp. It's a great amp. This one here, the 07, is going to be shelved for a while. But it's nice that you can just use that. I don't have to modify it at all. So that's about the best review you're going to get out of me. I mean, if it was two different types of amps, it'd be different. But they both have the same chipset. So what do you want? I want to thank Fosi Audio for sending that out so I can try it out. It's a nice amp. I'm kind of hooked on their equipment now because it's I'm enjoying their phono stage with the adjustable dB. I'm going to be actually picking up another one to try out their newer, the X3. But I'm definitely hooked on their product. Anyway, take it easy, and I'll see you in the next one.